Hey guys, Coach Bricks here. I hope you are doing fantastic. Listen, I put up a post of, do you need surgery when it comes to ACLs, or can you get by without surgery? Okay. Now the consensus here, especially in America, is that you need surgery, and that's how we're pushed. But through my research and through talks, and this opened my eyes probably about 5 years ago when I was speaking to a gentleman he's probably in his 30s now, but when he was in his mid-20s, early to mid-20s, he said he tore his ACL. He didn't get surgery. He was done playing sports, all this kind of stuff. So he decided to not get surgery. MRI confirmed it was torn. 11 months later, he went back to get an MRI, completely healed. But he didn't get surgery, and the doctor was baffled. So how did that happen? Because the ACL, like everything else in the human body, heals. Now, you have to make sure you're training it and teaching it the way you want it to heal, okay, to make sure it's going in the right progression. But through the research and through a lot of these Australian studies, they're showing that people actually don't need surgery for ACL repairs, that the human body heals itself, and sometimes at the same rate, if not better, than without surgery. And why? Because if I don't open my body up, okay, so here's one of the keys. When I get surgery, I have to go in, either they cut me, orthoscopic, whatever, but I have to take a cadaver from another part of the body, whether it's the hamstrings, patella, quad, whatever. I need to take a graft, and I need to put that in place. Well, not only am I hurt in one area, my knee, the ACL, then I got to take something out of another area to fix it. So now I have two issues going on. So I got to make sure the knee comes back, but I also got to make sure that this other area is right. When I heal naturally, guess what happens? The body naturally does its job. Its job is to heal. I talk about this often. Number one thing the human body knows, and only thing is survival. Off survival, it adapts and heals. That's it. That's what you got to understand. How it heals and adapts is based on you and how you treat it. So you can actually get back from an ACL surgery just as fast, is what a lot of this research shows. Now, do some people not come back? Yes. Why? Well, they're still up for debate, just like anything. I know people who get surgeries and it doesn't take, and their body fails, right? And they need another surgery. Or it's not, the graft's not strong enough, it's not holding, it's not doing it. Why? But they got surgery, why? I know some people are on 3 ACL repairs. Why didn't their body take? So every situation comes into how that human being is. There could be toxins in the system. There could be many different things. They're not healing it right. They're not doing the right rehab. They're not doing these things correctly. You know, just because you're going to a therapist doesn't mean that you're getting the right treatment for what you need. Okay, so let's get that out of the picture first. You have to understand that the human body heals the way it wants to with your guidance. And if you're not guiding it correctly, that's where the issue comes in. So that's why people do it. Now, if I don't get surgery and I'm going back to play a sport, okay, with an ACL, I would get an MRI at the 3-month mark. Okay, this is me personally. I'm just speaking from personal. Because after 12 weeks, if I'm doing my rehab and I'm doing the things I need to do, I want to see, is it healing? If it shows signs of healing, I'm going. I'm going all in. Boom, I'm taking off. If it's not, then I have to make the decision, okay, at that point, say, all right, I got to get the surgery. Or I'm not going to get the surgery. I'm going to continue down this path, rehabbing myself, and get it right. I might have to change plan of action, but that's what I'm going to do. And that's where this whole process comes in. And that's what got me thinking, why? Why is everybody so quick? Well, I know why a lot of doctors will push it, because, I mean, it's a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 repair, you know, or whatever it is. I have no idea, but it's definitely in the thousands of dollars, all right, tens of thousands of dollars to repair an ACL. It's good money, right? If I naturally heal it, that's no money in my pocket besides the MRI and the visits. So you have to start thinking, okay, what's going on? Okay, so you have to do your research. I can't tell you which way to go. That's totally up to you. Many people say if I'm an athlete, I'm still playing, that they would elect to get surgery. If I'm not, if I'm in my 20s, I'm done. You know, many people say don't get it. There's no reason to get it. You know what I mean? If you strengthen it up correctly and do the things properly, you don't need it. And I truly believe it. I think you can get back to 100%, if not better. The 100% each day that you get better and better. Why? Because if you progress and continue to do the things you need to do, you can always get there. Now, here's the thing. Once you get better, okay, and this goes with either one, whether I get the surgery or not, I can't stop. That's where people get it wrong. Once they feel better and get to a certain point, they stop. Now, typically, if you're an athlete, you're not going to quite stop until your athletic career is over. So you're willing to actually stay on course a little bit longer. When you're not, So if I don't get surgery and I'm not playing a sport, I tend to stop a little bit earlier because, hey, I feel good. I can do the things I could do before. I'm not going to push as hard. That's not how the body works. The body wants to be challenged every single day. The body wants to get better every single day, no matter how old you are. It wants to progress every single day. So if I'm not challenging it and I'm not pushing it, then guess what's happening? I'm going to start to regress. So here's what happens. So I don't have an ACL, right? I tear it. I go through my own rehab. I get better. I'm up here, right? Year in, I stop to do the things that start making me better. Then all of a sudden, year 2, this is what starts to happen. Then year 3, 4, 5. Now I'm back here. Now, yeah, I still have the ACL, but now I'm starting to have pain. I'm starting to have all these problems. It's starting to hurt again. It's starting to do that. It's because you stopped doing the things that made you better. That's all it is. Okay? That's a key. Now, you can't overdo it either. You got to be able to listen to the body when it needs to recover. It also needs recovery time. If you go back to the biblical, times, Jesus also said that he needed time to get away from the crowds. It was for his time to recovery. He also talked about sleep, talked about rest. These things are all recovery, just like us. We can't just keep pushing and expect it to actually be fine. You got to continue to understand how your body works, and that's why you need somebody to help guide you, or you need to understand your body. Most people don't understand their bodies. We say we do, but we have no clue. That's why we're in the shape we're in, okay? And just because you think you're this fitness person and all this kind of stuff doesn't mean you understand your body, because you don't understand how it heals unless you're actually gaining an insight into the spiritual aspect of it, because that's huge. That's the number one aspect. The mental and the physical come right behind that. So you have to understand all the processes that go along with this recovery. Now, I get questions of, well, doctor told me that if I don't get the surgery, it's up to me, that I'm going to have arthritis in 5 years. How the heck is he going to know you're going to have arthritis? Is he God? I mean, honestly, that's one of the biggest fallacies that everybody tries to push out there to scare you. It's fear-mongering, okay? There's no guarantee you're going to have any of that stuff. If you take care of your body and you do the things properly, your chances are slim that you'll have those problems. Okay? They are. They're just slim. You have to do it right. Because what's arthritis? Itis means inflammation of the joint, typically. Tendonitis, inflammation of the tendon. Those things come about because we stop doing things or we aggravate something and we're not doing it correctly. So arthritis a lot of times is what we eat, how we take care of ourselves. Okay? Now people don't want to admit that because it's a simple process, but you have to dive into what's causing the inflammation. A lot of people don't want to do that because it's work. Just like rehab is work. It's tough, especially when you don't have an ACL and you didn't get surgery. It's a lot of work. Okay, but it does get better if you're willing to put the time in. So just because somebody says you're going to have it or you're starting to have discomfort, ask yourself, am I doing the same things that I did before? Okay, Dave, I am. It's been the same. Have you progressed? Well, no. Well, then, okay, you got to progress. You got to push yourself a little bit each day. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you stop progressing. You got to continue to progress to the day you die. So with the ACL and surgery or not surgery, it's totally up to you, but you don't need it if you're willing to put the time in and go do your research. That's on you to figure that out. I can only give you so much. Your doctor can only give you so much. On you to figure out what you want to do. Is there a risk? There's a risk either way. I can go into surgery and have all kind of problems. I cannot go into surgery and it doesn't heal correctly. You got to figure that out, okay? With anything, that's just part of life. Those risks come about because of it. But you got to be willing to take that risk and push forward. There's a risk in life. Walking outside your door, there's a risk that something's going to happen. That's part of life. Are you going to stay inside all day long? There's people who do. But you have to make that decision. What do you want out of life? How far are you willing to push? Once you figure those things out, then you progress. But you also have to have the knowledge, or at least somebody has to be able to guide you, especially early on, in how to take care of that body. Okay? It's not just sitting there. It's not just throwing ice on it. It's actually moving it, because ice is one of the worst things for the human body when it comes to injuries. Okay? Getting swelling down is very important, but doing it the natural way is the most important. And sometimes you're going to have some discomfort when you're trying to get it out naturally. It's just how it is. But you have to figure that part out. So, surgery with ACLs or no surgery? Up to you. There is starting to gain more and more research that your body can heal itself from an ACL tear. unlike what I was told all throughout college, okay, that it could, even after college, that it could not, but it can. So those are the things you have to start looking at. Know that there could be problems, okay, and it might not heal correctly, but like I said, you could get surgery, you could still have issues. There's no guarantee in life, okay? The only guarantee is death, and that's what you have to understand. What am I willing to put in, okay? Am I willing to sacrifice and not get the surgery and push myself and work hard and go through this process and know that there might be some steps back, but at the end, I don't have any kind of problems in the sense of, there's an infection or anything else like that because I did what I needed to do? Or do I get cut, go back, and maybe 9 months later I'm better? Maybe not. Maybe I'm having more issues. Maybe not. I know people who have gotten surgeries and have had issues with their knees since, and it's 5, 6, 7 years later. Okay, but they had surgeries. They had another surgery, and they had surgery on top of that. So dive deep into it. I know people say, well, what if you also have a meniscus tear in there? What if you have this? What if you have that? Man, I could go on forever, okay? I'm just talking about the ACL for right now. This is the ACL tear and what happens. But the human body heals itself. That's what you have to understand. You have to figure out, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? How much research are you willing to put in and time to understand what you want to do, which route you want to go? It's totally up to you. Okay, I understand. I don't play sports anymore. The sport I only play is life. Right, that's it. If I tore mine up, I'm 99.9% sure I would not get a surgery. I would rehab it and do the things I know how to do myself, just like I do with pretty much anything. Whenever I get hurt, I figure out what I need to do, and I get better. That's me. I understand the body. I understand what it does. I understand, how it's supposed to heal, and then I figure it out. I tweak things. People aren't willing to do that because you don't want to put the time in. Fine, get the surgery, go the rehab route, follow the protocol, and maybe it'll be good, maybe you won't. But at least you know that, hey, listen, I followed the protocol. This is the more guaranteed way, because that's what it is, than this way that's still unknown. Even though we know that the body heals, we need to direct it in the right path. So reach out with questions, concerns, how I can help out. All right, but don't believe the hype that just because you don't get surgery, that you're going to have some issues later on. That's not a fact. Actually, I would say it's not a fact at all, and actually it's a fallacy and fear-mongering if we taught people how to actually take care of the body in the natural way and the correct way instead of the artificial way. And the natural way is letting God heal with your understanding of how to guide in the correct path. Have yourself a blessed day, and God bless you.